Welcome. Here we are again. Thank you for all your efforts in making the first cut for the All-State final round. I'm going to go and play each one of these exercises and give you some pointers and tips. This first etude that we're going to look at is number 41, the canzone. It's a nice singing melody, has some interval problems, as well as you have some sudden range. And I'm going to show you a few things that hopefully make the road better for you. Starting off, it should be a fairly moderate to moderate slow tempo. I am picking a tempo of 63. So that means when you have 30-second notes, there's 4 to a click. 1, 2, ti, ta, ta, 3, 1, 2, ti, ta, ta, 3, so forth. Establish not only the large pulse, but also the subdivision pulse, which is so important. The next problem that we have is getting up to that A in the beginning of the second line. If you're not able to hear that note or understand how to get that correctly, let me turn this off here. Let me show you a couple of things. First, play the C, then play the A, but don't play the high A, play it down an octave. So that note is where you want to be, but it's up here. Now, once you have that established in your ear, let me show you something that hopefully will make this slide up to the A a little bit easier for you. We're going to practice a gliss. So, play your C, then slowly gliss, or play every single available note using that B flat trigger fingering all the way up to the A. Notice I'm playing this A for at least right now on the open horn as well. So I'm getting a nice gliss. Doing it over a click or over a beat. And a moderate, this is about 60. So doing a nice smooth gliss. Then, think eighth notes. So you sustain on the first eighth note and gliss on the second eighth note. Now, as we gliss, think of the A as not necessarily being a higher note as far as reaching for it. Think the A is more out in front of you, like you're reaching the air to go from here over to here. Excuse me. If you need a little extra help, just think ooh as you make the transition. Do, do. Rather than pinching, going to an M, which sounds a lot more closed. And even then, I'm really not using that much here. I'm wrenching down the vibrating edge of the lip to squeeze the note out, as opposed to letting the air drive or reach forward. So, as you practice these glisses, one of the things that you should really be aware of is the air tube that's going between your lips, between that C and that A. It really shouldn't change dimension. That's why I just ask you to think that you are saying the syllable oo. So, as I said before, subdivide and sustain on 1/8 and gliss on the other. Next, go to a triplet and gliss on the last note of the triplet. Next, last part of a 16th note. Next, what you will do, you will wait and do the gliss on top of the note. Gliss through the transition. So you're going to use a lot more air on the back side of the C before we reach the A. And you'll get a nice clean slur. Do that again. That was not bad, but it wasn't exactly right either. Then I'll do the same thing, G to the D in the next measure. To me, one of the hardest measures is the next measure on the third line. That's going from the E to the B flat. For some reason, almost everyone wants to play a G instead. So, what I want you to do is play the E, then the B flat. Get that in your ear. Then add the C. Again, slowly. Next, add the D. If you notice, when I'm playing the B flat or the second note of the slur, I'm using a little bit more energy for that note. And as a rule, anytime you have a slurred passage, whether it's 2 or more notes, always give a little bit additional air or energy on the second note of the slur. Now for me, the B flat isn't as challenging as the E. So, one thing that you can do to help you, if that's your problem, is use the B flat horn a little bit more. So engage the B flat horn on your E. So F is on the F horn, open, then the E is second and third, or rather, excuse me, second and thumb, I should say. Thumb on the B flat horn. The B flat horn, E natural, is a little bit more stable because there are fewer notes around it. On the E on the F horn, there are some closer notes that might make it a little bit more slippery. The B flat way. Whichever way it works for you, try them both. Make a decision. At the end of the second line, we have some additional leaps. The F to the G to the F. I would approach this the same way as I did the C to the A. Do some glisses. Absolutely square rhythm. 1 theta, 2 theta, 3 theta, 4 theta, 1 theta, 2. Absolutely even. One of the things for final round auditions that is a great disqualifier is poor rhythm. So make sure that you are playing with the metronome. I'm I'm a little bit slow here, but that's okay. But not only on the large beat, but also on the subdivision. That's another one right there I came across, is that third beat on the beginning of the fourth line. You have the large interval in reverse. Another thing that will help, and the reason I got in trouble the first time, was that I forgot to give a little additional air for the lower note. Lower notes take more energy to sound as loud. So the reason that was faulty, I backed off the airstream. So if I get into it correctly and using a little bit more air as I come back down, after using more air to go back up, so I'm keeping a very active airflow. Very carefully, notice that on the second beat, the last 32nd note is articulated. A lot of people mistake and make that whole two-beat sequence a slur, and that's not the case. Notice the same thing happens in the next measure. So, keep nice, good rhythm, subdivide carefully, watch these larger intervals, don't squeeze, but let the air help you. Move the air front to back. Lower notes need more air, upper notes need more air because you're blowing them out more in front of you.